Hi, I'm Miranda Cosgrove, and this is Mission Unstoppable. Coming up, don't stay in the dark about bats.
Yay, we caught a bat.
We're shining a light on these incredible animals.
So this is the wing.
And can AI really replace human thinking? The answer has to do with your brain. Dr. Brain has the scoop. Then, meet an engineer using sound waves to make art.
How about we try out some sounds?
Wow. Plus, Astro Athena has some thoughts about an out-of-this-world vacation.
Space tourism is mostly for people with what astronomers call lots and lots of money.
Get ready to meet the scientists, inventors, and heroes who help make our world a better place. The future is here. The mission, unstoppable. When I first pitched a segment about mammals with wings, the producers said it wouldn't fly, but they eventually caved. So let's meet that expert, Kristen Lear.
Bats, 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 bats. Double touch. Bats, 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 bats. So, PhD candidate Kristen Lear, what is it that you do?
I study bats.
Huh, you don't say.
Today I'm meeting bat conservationist Kristen Lear at her bat cave, the University of Georgia. She's gonna shed some light on these mysterious creatures of the night.
So, why do you think bats are misunderstood?
They get this bad rap in the media, in movies. We see bats in scary scenes. But I think it's really unfair. We can see these are the same exact bat. This one has its teeth bared, which is often how you see bats in the media. You see them with their teeth out, but usually they're not like that. They're usually like that because they're afraid. And this one, same exact bat, but it looks cute. Look how cute it looks.
Yeah, look at its big old ears.
Yep. So there's really nothing to be afraid of when this is how they normally are.
You guys, seriously, search the web for cute bats. They are actually beyond adorbs. We've been fed a lie. How do we rectify this situation?
So what is something that people can do to protect bats?
A really great way people can help bats is to build and put up a bat house. There's actually lots of great resources online for building your own or buying a bat house.
So you can build a bat house like a birdhouse and bats will just come and live in it?
Yeah, that's what they do. There's bats in every single state, so they can all use bat houses. Even in urban city areas, you can build and put up a bat house.
Wow.
So Kristen took me outside to show me her bat houses.
So this is a bat house that you made?
Yeah, so I helped some local Girl Scouts build and put up this bat house last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So anyone can make a bat house in any state?
Yes, anyone can make them. There's a lot of great information online. So we actually have some here I can show you.
Ooh.
So this one right here is a model bat house, so it's cut out so you can see inside for a demo. And this one that you're holding is the finished product. So basically a bat house has this landing board where the bats will land and then they crawl up in there. And there's different rooms or chambers. So this one has 2 chambers. Up to 100 bats can fit per square foot, so about in that area.
What?
Yeah, so one of these bat houses can hold 300 to 400 bats.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Do you think there's any bats in there right now?
Well, let's check it out.
Oh, they are there.
Oh, look at them. I can't believe they're there.
You know, they actually do like to come back to the same places every so often, so these are probably the same bats I saw last week.
This is so cool.
I know, I never get tired of this.
Seriously, look at them chilling in there. It's the real bat world, yo. But if you want to see if a bat is really healthy, you have to get hands-on. So as the sun sets, we set up our nets.
Should we go ahead and raise the poles?
You got it. We're good to go.
And it wasn't long before we heard that sweet squeak of success.
Yay, we caught a bat. So this is the wing. You can see the bone. So we're gonna measure him and weigh him and see what we can find out. And this, to me, looks like a pretty healthy bat.
He's so cute. They're not scary.
Perfect. So we're gonna measure the length of the forearm.
Okay.
So it looks like we have a healthy girl, female, big brown bat. So now we're gonna let her go down that way.
Wow, okay.
So we're ready?
3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Oh, you got it, buddy.
is he gonna check? There. There she goes.
I feel like a hero.
Being a bat biologist really makes you feel like a hero.
Yes, that's a success.
In my dressing room between takes, I like to check in with our experts, so I asked Kristen what she was up to. Check it out.
Hey, Mission Unstoppable. Since I've been on the show, some really exciting things have happened. I got my dream job at Bat Conservation International, and I get to continue the work I was doing as a PhD student, helping protect endangered pollinating bats in Mexico. And one of the really cool things that I've been seeing is the public's shift in their attitude towards bats. So if you're thinking you want to help bats in your backyard, you could try planting a bat garden using native night-blooming flowers, or turn off your outdoor lights at night. This helps bats as well as other nocturnal animals. Thanks again for having me on Mission Unstoppable. And the next time you're eating a banana or some yummy agave syrup, remember to thank a bat for pollinating those plants. Bye.
How do we get to the intelligence part of artificial intelligence? Our favorite neuroscientist, Dr. Brain, can't explain.
You've probably seen stories about artificial intelligence or machine learning. But how do scientists and engineers hope to actually create machines capable of thinking? The answer has to do with your brain. Hi, I'm Dr. Brain. Okay, my real name is Crystal Dilworth, but I have a PhD in neuroscience, which is easier to call me Dr. Brain. So, I'm Dr. Brain! To make computers actually capable of thinking or complex pattern recognition, researchers look for inspiration from the most powerful biological computer we know, the human brain. Even if these computer neural networks are inspired by our organic neuronal networks, we have a long way to go before we can replicate a human brain. So what does our brain do better than a computer? Two big ones: neuroplasticity and pattern recognition. You can see how this library of memory is developed when a toddler does something like call every single bird they see a duck. Our brain retains the general attributes of many things that we've seen and experienced in our life, and can quickly pull up a close match. So even if we've never seen a fox, our brain sees 4 legs, a snout, and fur, a nose. It's kind of like a dog. It's why sometimes a website will check if you're human by asking which photos have bikes. It's something that we can do without thinking, but a normal computer program will struggle. AI wants what we have so badly. She's so jealous. Another of our brain advantages is neuroplasticity. This allows us to process new information and stimuli and leads to the human's incredible behavioral flexibility. For example, for most of history, no human held or used a touchscreen phone. But today, billions of us can type to our friends or share memes without giving it a second thought. Behavioral flexibility. Building and training our neuronal pathways also lets us do new things like learn more languages, master the electric guitar, or whistle with our fingers. I might still be building the neuronal pathways for that one. On the other hand, computers are normally given a set list of instructions to take care of in order. These instructions, or algorithms, can be incredibly complicated, but they're missing the adaptability of our complex web of neurons. So if you wanted a neural network to recognize birds, you would give them different bird images over and over. Then you'd look at the outputs and tell the program when it did a good job of seeing birds and when it didn't see birds. Over time, it will learn to adjust the weight of its calculations to improve its accuracy, and hopefully become an expert bird spotter. Researchers are hoping computer neural networks can help us tackle complex problems in chemistry, medicine, and even astrophysics. And they're already being used to improve things like autonomous driving and language translation. But one issue with trying to replicate the human brain is that our brains are really complex. Like, really, really, really complex. Neuroscience has come a long way, but there are a lot of things that we don't know, and a lot of things that we don't know we don't know. Man, that's a lot of neuroscience we need to do. I hope they don't mind that I took a few minutes to come to do this show today. Bye.
What does science sound like? Like a bird? Something like caw, caw? Or is there more to it? To find out what's up with sound waves, we went to talk to Aisha Lowry.
What is a sound wave? Well, when the surface of a speaker a bowl of spaghetti hitting the floor, or the vocal cords of an animal. Vibrate and push air molecules, it forces those air molecules to bump into other air molecules, which bump into other air molecules traveling out from the source in waves. Kinda like how water molecules form waves in the ocean. Loud sounds move more air, sending bigger waves. Soft sounds move less air, sending smaller waves. That's why things have different volume. But how exactly can waves of vibrating air molecules convey different specific sounds of everything from cowbells to cows? To find out, we're talking to engineer and educator Aisha Lowry, who knows a thing or two about how sound works.
When I was young, I didn't know anything about engineering. If you've ever thought about how something worked or thought about I can make this better, then you're thinking like an engineer.
Today, Aisha is going to show us how waves of air molecules can create all the different types of sounds that we hear by literally showing us what sound looks like, starting with pitch.
Pitch is how high or low a sound is.
How do you change the pitch of a sound?
Well, pitch really depends on how fast or slow the source of the sound is actually vibrating. We can actually see pitch with this.
One end of Aisha's homemade device has a container for a speaker with a balloon stretched over one opening and a piece of mirror taped to it. On the other end, a laser pointer aimed at the mirror. How does the sound that we hear turn into the light that we see?
Remember we talked about vibrations in air molecules? The speaker emits sounds, which makes the balloon vibrate and the mirror. And the laser just reflects off of that onto the screen.
Wow, so we are seeing the sound.
Exactly. How about we try out some sounds? I'll do a low pitch one first.
Okay. Oh, wow, look at that.
All right, now you try the high pitch.
Okay. Look at it go. That's crazy.
So fast.
So faster vibrations create higher pitched sounds, and slower vibrations create lower pitched sounds.
Exactly.
Aisha has one more demonstration for me, and it involves sand.
These are Chladni patterns. So what's happening here is the surface is resonating sound waves. The sand is really showing us where the nodes and antinodes are.
Nodes and antinodes.
So a node really produces very little energy, which makes the sand come together and settle in one place. And an antinode has high energy, which basically makes the sand be pushed away.
While a single tone will create a static Chladni pattern, more complex tones will create beautiful changing patterns as the sound waves bounce off each other, moving the nodes and antinodes. So this shows us that sound is not just one wave. It's a pattern of waves that are bouncing off of one another.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for showing me all of this and for teaching me that you can see sound.
Sure.
I think we should listen to some more.
Sounds good.
Any astronomer can tell you about stars or planets, but the good ones also have vacation ideas. Here's Astro Athena to tell us all about space tourism.
It's always nice to take some time off and head out for a little vacation. And while some people can't wait to explore our beautiful national parks, or perhaps a warm tropical beach, other people want an experience unlike anything else on Earth. Literally. Hi, I'm Athena, your friendly neighborhood astronomer, and today I'm going to tell you all about space tourism. Since humans could first look up and think about the stars, we've imagined what it would be like to leave Earth and travel there. For most of the history of space travel, if you wanted to get into space, you had to be trained as an astronaut and had to be part of a government space program like NASA. But there were a few people that wanted to travel to space, And they were willing to write a check to make it happen. In 2001, an entrepreneur named Dennis Tito became the first commercial space tourist when the Russian Space Federation let him tag along on a Russian spacecraft to the International Space Station, where he stayed for almost 8 days. We don't have a picture of Dennis, so here's a picture of a duck. It's fun to imagine a duck in space, right? 5 years later, Anusha Ansari became the first female non-astronaut to journey to space for a 10-day trip. This Iranian-born engineer was the 4th space tourist on the planet. Her goal? To inspire young women to never give up on their dreams, even when they're out of this world. Mission accomplished, Anusha. These missions set the template for collaboration between government space programs and private corporations. And today, we have multiple companies that can take both astronauts and tourists to the International Space Station. Right now, space tourism is mostly for people with what astronomers call lots and lots of money. But automobiles and mobile phones were once also high-end luxury items, and now they're enjoyed by millions of people. The hope is that as technology advances, it will bring the price down dramatically, so it's within reach of your everyday average person. Maybe even down to astronomer prices. And there are nonprofit organizations working to expand space tourism beyond the wealthy. The future of space tourism will likely expand on what's possible right now. Outside of visiting the International Space Station, suborbital flights are already on the market. And we could see stays at commercial space stations that are not yet constructed. Or maybe even trips to the moon. Can you imagine going to the moon on your honeymoon? It's literally in the name. Besides being on a nice little vacation, the future of space tourism could blur the distinction between professional astronauts and private citizens with diverse backgrounds, skill sets, and perspectives. Think of it like citizen astronauts. Not just astronomers like me, but biologists, chemists, programmers, and artists, all types of people. A wide spectrum of perspectives could give us a deeper understanding of the universe. A future where more people can travel to space is a better future for science. In the meantime, if you own one of those space rockets and want to give a ticket to a humble astronomer, I'm available. Just DM me. And always remember, per aspera ad astra. I hope to see you in orbit. Bye.
Welcome back. Before we go, we have one last thing.
Find people who inspire you and to find mentors, but just someone like a parent or a teacher who can encourage you along the way and be there when things don't go right.
If you are into music or art or dance, or if you just love to build things, those are things that engineers are, all of those different things. So you can bring your whole self to being an engineer. There's no one type.
And that's it for Mission Unstoppable. Tune in next week when we find out if vampire bats will put on cute little capes, maybe top hats. Ooh, they can even carry a cane. So cute. Bye. If you're watching this, you must have really liked the video. Make sure you follow and subscribe, and check out these other videos that are even better. No, really. I've seen this one over 100 times.